Radio Afronet Live. We here. And don't forget for that COVID bailout NYC.
Down on the low, we can do I'm on the low, we can do I'm on the low. Baby, no one has to know, no one has to know. Baby, my body will go down on the low, down on the low. We can do I'm on the low, we can do I'm on the low. Baby, keep it on the low, keep it on the low. Baby, my body will, oh yeah. When I buy for two, yeah. Baby, girl, I'm me and you. For a long time now, you I choose. Oh, I beg you, choose me. This kind of love is stupid. This kind of love is foolish. But not this kind of love, man, they want. Yeah. Say your love, it is sweet in my body. Yeah. It dey make me want to spend money. Yeah. Say your love, it is sweet in my body. Yeah. It dey make me want to spend money.
Check.
So go down on the low, down on the low, make it down on the low, make it do I'm on the low, baby. No one has to know, no one has to know, baby. My body will go down on the low, down on the low, make it down on the low, make it do I'm on the low, baby. Keep it on the low, keep it on the low, baby. My body will, oh yeah. Baby girl, say I want you in my life, nah nah. 'Cause I know, say you want me in your life, nah nah. Nothing I do, I go carry you past your side, nah, nah, nah. Me and you, we go there for life, oh. Boy, I love my daily, oh. Yeah. Nibilo my pussy, oh. Yeah. Baby girl, I fit fight for your matter, oh. Yeah. I promise I no go there, you should play my yo. Go down on the low, down on the low. Make it do I'm on the low, make it do I'm on the low. Baby, no one has to know, no one has to know. Baby, my body will go down on the low, down on the low. Make it do I'm on the low, make it do I'm on the low. Baby, give it on the low, give it on the low. Yeah. My body will.
Cool. I don't drink, I drink water.
I drink O.Ewola.
There we go. Hey everybody.
Hey.
My name is Wendy and aka Miss Kenya USA.
Yes. My name is O.Ewola, aka O.Ewola. And we just want to say
thank you first of all to Rise Radio and of course YB and Flame for putting this amazing Unity project together.
Yes, in this beautiful space as well.
Yes, it's so much vibes. I mean, we got here, we're like, hey. We haven't been out in a minute, so shout out to y'all for having us here.
Corona has us inside.
But today we're outside. For a good cause.
Yeah, for a good cause. If you're watching, please don't hesitate to donate.
Yes, absolutely. So as we continue our program today, we definitely encourage you guys to donate. Today, all the funds, 70% of the funds are going to help COVID bailout. And so this will be very beneficial for you guys to share the link and continue to donate, even if it's $1, $5, $100, whatever you have.
All right, donate a little something for a good cause, you know?
Yes. So shall we get into it?
Yes, sir. Yeah? Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah,
So this session, for those who don't know me, I'm a big mental health advocate, especially for the Black community. And of course, I had to bring my boy, Olu, because, he's also just like a advocate in his community about mental health. And I figured we should really tag team together and really talk about what mental health is today, and hopefully offer a few tips and, of course, resources. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start off with what is mental wellness and what is mental health to us?
Yeah. I guess that's we were talking before this, and it's such a broad topic.
It is.
And I guess to answer that question, I really reflected in what's been happening in 2020 because you know, when YB reached out, I was like, yeah, of course. And then I had to think about, like, what is mental health in the midst of, like, 2 pandemics for a black person, you know?
COVID-19 and also racism.
Racism,
so
right.
it's so many layers to it.
So
especially
many layers.
Just being black, just being human right now in general.
Yeah.
That's a layer. On top
Right.
of that, being black, that's another layer. On top of that, being a black woman or a black man, that's another layer that branches off into 2 different spectrums.
Right. Yeah.
So even for being a black woman is you can get into that. For being a
Right.
black man is like, some black men haven't even touched
Yeah.
the realm of mental health. So I don't even
Yeah.
know how they're dealing with all of this that's going on.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here to share, you know, some tips and to educate those that are watching
Yeah.
on how to, you know, navigate through these times the best we know how to.
And
So-
I guess, like, when we're even trying to define mental health, and I know you're going to talk about, like, men and black mental health, and I guess even before COVID hit, like, Kobe died, and I feel like that was the first, not the first, well, I guess it was first traumatic act of the 2020 before it went downhill. And I remember some of my guy friends kind of reflecting on, like, how Kobe was a hero to them, you know? And, like, it hit me, but, like, it was kind of like the first time seeing some men, even, like, people like Shaq or just crying in public and kind of displaying that. I felt like it was kind of like a display of, like, it's okay to cry as a black man, regardless how big or, you know, athletic you may seem. And how was that for you, I guess?
To be very honest, there's a part of me that still doesn't believe it to this day. Even with you talking about it now, I'm still kind of experiencing emotions that I felt when I first heard the news. I cried. Like Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
Right.
But may their souls rest in peace. But just it was heavy. I'm not even gonna lie. It was really heavy.
Yeah.
And I know amongst my fellow brothers, my fellow friends, like we didn't really know how to tackle that. we didn't.
And that's the thing too. Like, I guess when we talk about mental health and what's been happening with COVID and racism, there's a big part of grief that we as black people have never really discussed on how to grieve properly. And so we sort of, like, go through our lives getting over it, you know? Like, the person dies, you feel bad, you go to the funeral, and it's usually just like everything happens for a reason kind of thing. But then you suppress all those emotions, and then sometimes usually I feel like you get in relationships, whether it's friendship or romantic relationships, and then certain emotions just start to come out of nowhere, and then you realize, like, oh snap, I never actually dealt with this loss or this situation, and because of that, I have formed unhealthy ways to cope, and then it causes you sometimes to lose those relationships, like the good relationships or friendships, you know?
Right, and it also forces you to now look deeper inside, like where do these emotions, where does this anger, where does this confusion, where does the sadness, where does it stem from?
And can I feel them?
Right,
You know?
can I feel it? Does
Yeah.
it stem from my inner childhood issues? Does it stem from relationship issues? Does it stem from school issues? Does it stem from neighborhood issues?
Yeah.
There's literally so many different
Yeah.
factors, like
Yeah.
with almost everything. And again, especially as a person of color, as a black person, there's different dynamics. And I know there's a lot of information going in and out of Twitter. Twitter's jokes every day. Yeah, every day is jokes. But there was this post that I kind of related to, and it said, "Black men I'm fine my way into depression." And I was just like, wow, like, or I'm good, like, literally, like, we could be going through, as for me, I'm just share like a personal experience.
Yeah.
I went through no season of, like, I was at my lowest point ever, like ever. And literally I had to show face every single day because I was leading an organization. So I had to literally, I'm good, like find ways to just get through it. And I didn't think of going to space or going to a person to,
Therapist.
just let everything out. So it comes down to awareness. I would say self-awareness, and it also comes down to community as well. Just showing up and noticing if just checking in on your friends.
Word.
Like I'm good. I don't want to hear I'm good. I'm fine.
I guess since you shared your story, I also want to share my story too, because I feel like I went through the same situation. I know you know. I think you know. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And so, like, when my brother passed away by suicide, I was also that person who's like, I take care of everything else but myself, because I'm the
giver.
strong one. Yes, I'm the giver. And there's absolutely no chance that Wendy should cry, or there's absolutely no chance that Wendy is weak, So it actually took me moving to New York City to realize, like, whoa, I actually never mourned the death of my brother. And I only realized that because I had been in a space where I was now, pursuing what I wanted, like, dealing with who I am and trying to become what I want to be. So all the distractions of, like, taking care of everybody else kind of paused. And then I was like, dang, this death really hit hard, And I feel like you're saying, you kind of have to show face in communities that don't really, I guess, welcome emotional, I don't know, behavior, I don't know if I should call it like that, but they just, in the African community, in my sense, it was more like, oh, your brother passed away and you're gonna be all right, okay? And I'm just like, listen, I love Jesus and all, but I don't need the word right now, But that's usually the solution, like, all the time. And it actually causes you to just be frustrated and not really want to hear what other people are going to say, because you already kind of know what they're going to say. So I'm just like, oh, look, you're going to tell me to pray about it. You're going to tell me to seek, like, a pastoral counsel. And sometimes that's not what I really want at the moment. And just to sidetrack a little bit, I also say, like, it's really important to know how to help someone. You really have to ask what they actually need at that moment, because sometimes someone, if you are a spiritual religious person and that person also is, sometimes that's not what they need at that moment. You have to really kind of learn, like, do I just need to be quiet? And maybe they just need your presence. Do I just need to, like, shop for them, do groceries for them, and that will be enough? So just having, like, that mindset that, relax. Maybe you are a wise person, but maybe they don't need your wisdom right now,
And that discernment, that discernment.
Exactly.
And a good thing is also asking, like you said, because sometimes you may not know until you ask. So.
And I guess it's kind of ignorance on our end, because it's how we've always dealt with situations. We know that if someone is sad or someone goes through depression, the immediate response in our community is pray about it. And so I know that is ignorance. So when we are dealing with depression on our own, I think also that is also a opportunity to educate those who are willing to learn. And that's why it's like, hi, thank you for coming over. Thank you for trying to pray for me. But at this moment, what I actually really need is X, Y, and Z. And I think at that moment, you kind of maximize that really low point that you're in, but also just, like, hopefully shed some light, I guess.
Right. And I feel it's a stigma. It is a stigma in the Black community, in the African community, and many other communities.
Absolutely.
And tackling it face front is literally what we need right now. Like, yo, it is okay to cry.
Word.
as a boy, as a young man.
Like those
cry.
words.
Yeah, yo, yo, cry, let it out,
Yeah.
shake it out,
Yeah.
do whatever, scream for like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
And bounce back.
Word.
If that's what you need in that moment, it's okay to, you know, jot down your emotions. It's okay to
Yeah.
vent.
Yeah.
And I feel like we live in a society where it's like, oh my gosh, this person's crying. Like, whoa, what's going on? Or,
Yeah.
oh, this person is sharing their emotion. They're weak.
Yeah.
Nah, like for someone to share their deepest emotion, that is strength. They're stronger than the person that's showing face.
Yeah.
So I feel like unlearning that stigma to relearn, like, yo, it is okay.
Yeah.
And to really put, you know, mental health, mental wellness, that holistic realm on the same level as physical health
Yeah.
and wellness, because
Yeah.
we can't be well physically if we're not well mentally, and also that affects our spirituality.
Yep.
And
Your
going,
holistic.
yeah, the
holistically.
whole realm, like, and going into even spirituality. I'm a Christian. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a
But
Christian.
listen.
Nah, for real. Like, I be reading my Bible and
Come
my
on. You
mind.
better open the word.
Yo, my mind be blown. Like, there was,
Yeah.
I believe it was in Proverbs. God forgive me. I'm not sure if I'm interpreting it right, but however, they mentioned when you're feeling anxious, it is good for you to share a good word, so the person you're sharing a good word with or having a conversation with doesn't get depressed. And it literally mentioned, in that sentence, it mentioned anxiety and depression. I was like, nah, look, let me hit up Google to like.
Let me find the translation.
Yeah, not for real. So it literally, there's literally advice in the Bible, like, okay, yeah, you can pray about it, but you have to take these steps. You have to seek counsel. You have to seek advice. You have to do this, that, and the third in order to, you know, educate yourself and be better, be well.
There's so much that you just said, but I actually just thought about something when you were saying that it's okay to cry and all that. I remember I was having a talk with a male therapist, and I was asking him, like, what are your thoughts on the statement "man up," right? And he was talking, man up. My bad, my accent kicked in, yeah. man up, yeah?
Oh, like
man
man up.
up.
Like, yeah, like, yo, man up. Yeah, okay.
Wow, you gonna do me like that?
Nah, and I was like, wait, I thought, it's okay.
It's good. I'm an African woman, okay? And so, like, he was saying it depends on who chose to define those words, you know? Because if your definition of manning up means not cry, you know, that means that if you ever see someone cry, that's not manning up. And that's false, you know? So it really depends on who taught you the definition of what it really means to man up.
Right.
Like, if you were younger and your parents always told you, like, you have to play sports, you have to get A+, you have to, like, always be on top, you cannot ever show weak emotions, and that was your definition of manning up, you will go through your life thinking, like, if you ever exhibit any form of characteristics that are, like, opposite to what your parents or your community showed you, you feel like a failure, you don't feel like a man. And that you have to literally, like, demystify certain definitions, you know, as an African, as a black person, because some of these things are taught to us, like, subconsciously, I guess, because it's just like it was the norm, and you kind of feed it in your mind, and then like one time you're like, dang, like, whoever said I can't cry? Like, who in the world, like, if I was created with tears in my body, how am I not supposed to cry? You know? Like, it don't make no sense.
Right. And I definitely feel as a young man, it comes down to finding that balance between, you know, the masculine and feminine energy. Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
Wow. And what, can you give an example? I think I'll be better to
because
understand
you
that.
know
I think I'll better understand.
Because you said balance, and I feel like I think what you're also trying to say is that there's some characteristics that if you display, you be labeled as a woman. Is that what you meant? I'm not trying to put you on the hot seat, but
not necessarily, but in our society, there are already characteristics that, boom, if you do this, oh, he's too feminine, oh, he's too girly, Or if you do this, oh, that's my guy, that's my. I don't know if I can curse on this.
You can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh. Like, oh, that's my God, that's my nigga, this, that, and the third. Like, but there's a middle ground, you know. And even the people that are your guys, are your niggas, they struggle to find that, you know, that ounce of femininity to like to cry, or they even front. Like they front for their friends, front for whoever, but in private they like, dang, like I honestly don't know how to communicate my emotions. I honestly didn't know that crying was okay, and I'm not
because
gonna
of labels.
Right,
Yeah.
and I feel like, yo, it is because
it really boils down because of labels, because there again, like there's certain, like it's like a list. There's things like if you do, you're this, and if there's things that you do, you're this, and then all this weird labels, they become like a personality that you don't want to ever display. Right. Even though it's a natural thing to display certain emotions when you're going through your form of hell. Right. You know, and I feel like demystifying such definitions, it really comes with work, because we're in our 20s, and can you imagine, like, we're now just, you know, getting to a place where we're even talking about mental health. Some of us, that's like 20 plus years of like breaking some really messed up foundations and like thought processes of like what we've been taught, and it's a lot of work. And then thinking about like now, I know that's one thing that we've talked about, like even sharing mental health with our parents or the older generation, and when we think about that, that's like a whole like 60 plus years of like traditional religious, like just really messed up way of thinking about mental health. And so, because obviously mental health is witchcraft, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, how do you even, I mean, it starts with this conversation, but it's just like a long way to go when it comes to even our parents and even us. I feel like,
I mean, our parents is baby steps. You can't,
for real,
you can't feed them the whole elephant. You're right. If it's baby steps, you know, just.
What do you think is one way that you would, I guess, kind of shift in the future, in your family, to kind of just have a healthy environment of mental health in your home, from what you've seen at home?
From what I've seen at home, and also what. And
like your, I guess, community.
Yeah, what I've seen at home, just a combination of what I've seen at home, what I've kind of seen on the internet, my own standards. I would definitely start my kids off with affirmations from as soon as they could talk. Like, I am a king, I am a queen.
You better speak.
I saw a video. I saw a video on Twitter, like this young kindergartner. He was a boy, and I think his mom was walking him to school every single day, just speaking affirmations to him. And one morning, he started saying it back to her, like, I am a king. I am the greatest boy alive, this, that, and the third. I'm like, wow, that's so powerful, because it's setting that foundation for the rest of their lives. Yeah. And to really think that some of what we're dealing with right now is just
lack
stuff.
Of being affirmed.
Yeah, lack of being affirmed, and just stuff that we lacked, or that we lacked in our childhood, in a sense. Like, if we really want to just get really psychological, I'm not
disclaimer.
Disclaimer. I'm not clinically licensed, but just this is my opinion. But
you have wisdom. Come on.
Yeah, I definitely feel that our inner child, we need to tend to our inner child. Like, don't ever neglect it at all.
That is so good.
Yeah, like, from a creative side.
Because it was kind of neglected in the beginning.
Right, and in some form. Not, I mean, everyone is different. Absolutely. Everyone was raised different. But there definitely are adults who have hurt inner childs, and it's reflective on how their their impatience
Yeah.
or maybe reflective on their anger.
Arrested development. I think that's what
Right.
it's called.
Right.
You just kind of like freeze. You get older or whatever, but you're stuck in like
In an age.
that something happened and was never dealt with. So the way you react to things is like your 4-year-old self or
Wow.
so it's a thing.
Wait, what did you quote?
Arrested development. So
Arrested?
so
Oh, wow.
literally like you're arrested. Like you just grow up, but your emotions never
Never
mature.
grow with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that is like, it's like a testament to like, neglecting, failing to deal with the traumas that we faced as younger kids. And I feel like sometimes like, because we never really talked about mental health when we were younger or in our whatever upbringing,
Right.
you realize like when you start talking about things, you're like, dang, that was actually trauma. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, dang, I actually went through a lot. And that's really sad because now you understand that the way your mindset was coping in like a defense mode that was never even healed. And that's really sad.
Right. And just leaving all of this on the back burner in a
Yep.
sense.
Yep. Yeah.
Until you're literally in the middle of a pandemic
Yeah.
inside for 3 months straight.
Yeah.
You have to deal with every single trauma, like
Yeah.
every single emotion, every single thought. You're
Yeah.
like, yo, like I thought I got over her 2 years ago, or I thought I got over
That's what
him.
happened? That's what happened this time?
No.
All right.
No, I didn't.
Hey,
But
it's
well,
okay.
for me personally, I was just like, wow, like there's certain habits that I have to unlearn that are toxic.
And I feel like COVID
toxic.
did do that. Like I feel like COVID had this thing where we're all locked in our homes and you kind of had to deal with certain emotions that you've been distracted by the everyday busy New Yorker life.
Right.
And I think some people, did run into like depression, anxiety, because now you really have to deal with those feelings.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And a quote that I kind of like wrote down during that time period, this time period is like, we're locked inside to focus on inside.
Ooh. Hey.
So
Don't leave me.
I
Oh, hey. Come on. Gee.
Wisdom.
Wow.
But yeah, like we're literally locked inside to now focus on inside.
Yeah.
Because when we were outside, we were focused on outside.
Wow.
And literally, your outside is a reflection of your inside. So whoever you are, whatever you think, whatever you're doing inside is going to automatically emphasize on the outside, whether it's good or bad. So
That's true. So we have to wrap up really quickly. What are two quick ways that you can share of how you coped in this COVID that you can also encourage anyone watching to implement?
I would like for you to go first.
You want me to go fast?
Yes.
So I actually decided to actually start therapy finally because I felt like I always wanted to start therapy and I don't want to wait for like something bad to happen again for me to go into therapy. So I just decided to actually be intentional about working on my emotions. So I did that. And then I usually journal as well as music. Music is like, I don't know, I feel like I could just listen to music and it's all good. And walking. That's what I've been doing to keep my mental health on 10 over 10. What about you?
So I've definitely been writing. I've been writing a lot. And also walking really helped. Yeah.
Yo, you been
really
walking
helped.
to nowhere.
Nah, for real. Like I was walking around my neighborhood like when I first started. I'm like, wow.
Right?
This tree is green.
No, or like you always been here?
Oh wow, the birds, they're chirping. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really cool to just pay attention.
Yes.
Yeah, like really stay focused, stay present. Staying present is always key. So that
we have a question. Ooh.
Can you all touch on including the victim in
Can you also including the victim in treatment?
I don't.
Victim, like in.
I think. Okay. Can you all touch on including the victim in treatment?
You mean like? I'm guessing that's something.
That's
sexual
the
harassment?
victim in treatment. I would say that sounds like a really.
It
That
sounds
sounds like
like
a question that, someone that is trained.
I feel like I'm not sure if this is what they meant, but it sounds like
the victim in treatment.
it sounds like it would be.
Because to me,
something
like
sexual, like a sexual assault or something like that.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not really
I'm
sure.
not 100%
I'm not
sure.
really sure what the question is asking, like
or
the
if you can ask
context.
it.
But I feel like to talk about therapy, again, I'm not like a licensed therapist or anything like that, but I do know there's different methods of therapy. Like you could do individual therapy, and then you could also always include whoever is affected or whoever you want to be a part of your healing journey. So I feel like that's a conversation to have with the person pursuing therapy, and as well with the therapist, to see how well you're kind of like doing in your healing process.
Right.
And so if this person is going to be invited in this therapy session or in the treatment, then I think that's first a conversation to kind of gauge in with your therapist,
right.
and even the person seeking healing. I
Right,
feel like that's
right.
what I would say, if that's what and I think that goes for anything, because if it's whether it was a sexual assault,
Right.
whether it's like racism,
Right.
like if you want that person to be a part of the healing, it will have to be a conversation where your personal therapist or doctors or part of your treatment plan agrees
Right.
and feels like it's right to take.
Right.
So that's what I would say.
Thank you.
It's a little, you know, a little
something.
wisdom from back in the day.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. But yeah.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna wrap
Think
up.
we're gonna wrap up?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up.
This has been dope.
It has been.
Yes.
Guys, just don't forget to donate
Yes.
to COVID Bailout NYC.
Yes.
70% of the proceeds will be going to people who need to get bailed out.
Yes. And again, if you're watching this and you need help with your mental health, please do not feel shy. Please seek out help. You can reach out to me, _Wendy Odor on Instagram, and I can hopefully lead you to a right path. But there's also hotlines that are available in New York City, and Open Path is also a good website to find a
Amazing.
therapist. Therapy for Black girls, Therapy for Black men are also sites that you could really reach out and hopefully find help. But please, let's normalize talking about mental health, because everybody deserves to be alive. Please don't ever question your like existence. The fact that you're alive and you are breathing this air is just a testament that you still have a purpose to accomplish in this lifetime. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And NYC Well. Let's
Well.
not forget NYC
That's a good
Well.
one. Yes.
Yeah. So, again, if you need to talk about anything, reach out to me as well.
Yeah.
My Instagram is @O.Ewola. So you can reach out to me. I will help lead you to other resources that may be helpful for you. So
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed this.
Yes.
Hope you stay blessed.
Yes.
Hope you stay healthy.
Come on.
Hope you enjoy the vibes.
Come on.
Enjoy the vibes.
Hey. Thank you guys for having us, and have a lovely day.
Awesome work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
When will the black people unite? When will the black people come together? The white people getting stronger every day. and there is unity among the black people. Yayo, shanana shanana no, anati nati bogo, shanana shanana no. Yayo, shanana shanana no, anati nati bogo, shanana shanana no. Sibombe, sabadu barop, shanana shanana no.
Check. Big shout out to Wendy one time for that dope, amazing conversation episode. Thank you. How you feeling? Are you telling your friends to donate? Thank you. Oh no, not you. You ready?